With those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. You've absolutely changed my life for the positive, and I just want to thank you. I was 29-year-old beta, living at home with my mom, and just was living in fear and in doubt, and I couldn't hold down a job. And then I found you, and I started listening. I started just being more at peace, and I forgave my mom, and I forgave my father. And it's like right after that, everything just changed in my life, and I was able to get a good job, and I moved out, and I live on my own now, and everything has just changed. And I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for spreading that message. It really is a positive message.
Amazing. That's good, man. I want people to know God loves us in ways that there are no words to express, because you have nothing to compare it to, right? Stay with the silent prayer. You haven't seen anything yet. It gets better.
Hey, listen, before I ask my question, I want to thank you so much. The silent prayer, I'm 50 years old. At home, we have a 16-year-old, 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And I got to tell you, introducing the silent prayer to my family, instead of just sitting down and saying the same old prayer over and over again before we eat our meal, to just be silent, bringing all thoughts into captivity. Brother, that has been such a huge, huge blessing in our lives. I just want to encourage anyone to try that out. It's amazing to look around after we've done our silent prayer before we eat, to see the excitement in my kids' faces, like, oh yeah, Dad, I had a bunch today. Or the other one will be like, yeah, I had a couple things that I've been thinking about. It really takes root, Jesse, and so I want to thank you so much. And ever since then, it's been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Tony. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. You're going to know God and his love. It's going to be amazing, man. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. He's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in, folks, on this beautiful, amazing, truly amazing Wednesday. How you doing, folks? Thank you for tuning in. Rolling in from Joel's chat, watching the network. How you doing? Excited to be back. I got a show. It's going to be loosey-goosey, but I got a show for you here. Anybody know anything about Eurovision? The Anchor Baby's into a new thing a little bit. Eurovision's kind of amazing. We'll get into it. You can call the Anchor Baby, 888-775-3773. if you want to jump on the air there. Wait and hold so that you can get it off your chest, so to speak. But welcome. How you doing, everybody? What's up? Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. Appreciate it. Europe. I got Euro trash vision. People are already trashing it. Okay. Calm down. Calm down, clowns. How you doing? Appreciate you rolling in. Okay. Eurovision. It's where they make a song, okay? Anybody follow Eurovision? Where are my Eurovision followers in the chat? No, bro, it's a very dirty show. I know. But it's been around for a long time. Falconing. It's been around for a long time. It wasn't always such a dirty show. Euro trash vision. Anybody, when you think of Euro trash, I guess when you think of like beats, synths, and maybe like a lot of hair gel or something. Shiny, iced out Europeans. That's what I think of. Euro trash. But that's what people have in their minds, you know. Eurovision, held annually since 1956. Eurovision, an international song competition organized annually by the European Broadcasting Union, traditionally held in the country that won the preceding year's event. Dude, just Google Eurotrash, LOL. Eurotrash, come on, don't be so mean to your European brothers, brethren. Come on. I know they got their little European Union and it's a mess, but they have a lot of history, okay? It wasn't always like this. 1956, Switzerland won in 1956. And a Swiss singer, Asia, she sang a song, Mi Refrain. She sang it in French. I wonder what the politics were like. Was it also like politics, in what song you sang and how will it hit the crowd? How will it hit the European crowd at the time? So that you could win best song that year. First one was this incredible sounding thing. Let's see if I can get this going. Les Asia, mi refrain. Opa. This is trash to you? Trash. Look at this. Right? That's French. Beautiful. We had to let the stanza finish. Thank you, Lise. That was the winner, Switzerland. You know, we come to Sweden in Eurovision 2023, which is where this Eurovision 2024 was held. The winner was a Swedish lady, Swedish singer Loreen, Swedish singer and songwriter Loreen. Let me show you Loreen. Better known, or that's her stage name, okay. Also known, let me show you, Loreen. Loreen won for her song Tattoo. Also known as Loreen Zineb Nora Tahawi. Very Swedish lady, very Swedish name. She's actually Moroccan, like Berber. What is it? Berber Moroccan or something like that? Moroccan Berbers. Born from Moroccan Berber parents, something like that. The Berbs. Anyways, here's this Swedish singer, Loreen Zineb Nora Tahawi. She was born in Sweden. She's an anchor baby, like me. A guest, but I don't know if people would, if she would like me saying that. Loreen, Eurovision. It looks like, and I see calls coming in, appreciate the patience, 888-775-3773. It looks like we might have an early entry to Eurovision 2025, folks. And I want to show you something that's going on here. We may have, halfway through, on the heels of Eurovision 2024, which is at the beginning of this month, they already did the winners and all that. It's not. They've barely announced the winners, and we already have a possible entry for Eurovision 2025. Let me show you something. Let me show you something so European that mongrelized minds, I disavow, cannot comprehend. Let me show you this in 240p, no less. Okay? In 240p, no less. Watch this. What's that? I see. Is that? No. Nazism on display? It couldn't be. Where's the glow sticks, yo? This is more my style. AUSLANDER, RAUS. Who's heard this one out? Eurovision 2025. They're singing over a song that already exists. This is like a 12-year-old song. Who I forget the name of the song. It's originally it's in French, I believe. The name of the song is not AUSLANDER RAUS. It's L'Amour Toujours. L'Amour Toujours by Gigi D'Agostino. Song, I think, from like 12 years ago. It's been remixed in today's age with a little bit of German, and it's getting people fired up. It's gotten people a little it's controversial because they're saying Ausländer Haus. That means foreigners out. Ausländer Haus. Ausländer Haus. Deutschland, Germany for Germans. And then they repeat the refrain, Ausländer Haus, okay? And so I don't know if it'll be a 2025 Eurovision contesting here, but it's got people going. It's got people going. That little synth sound, by the way, dun, 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 dun. I think from now on, I think we can agree from now on, it's the sound, it's now immortalized as the sound of the European rising. You hear that in the distance? Dun, 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 dun. Muslims in Europe, beware. Because you'll be dealt with through the law and accordingly, because you can't be doing mess in the European country. You feel me? Like, I don't advocate violence. I don't, you know that. But what was I saying? Yeah, that's the sound. Just so you know.
Kann man sagen, dass Hitler der Mann ihres Lebens war?
Ja, 100%. 100%.
100%. I don't know my German, but I think he's saying 100%. He's saying 100% too. I don't even know what that was, by the way. That's just like some meme I saw on Twitter. I'm memeing around. I'm making it clear because it's important, because people are a little crazy on the internet. But that's interesting. There's a little meme on the internet. Older individual, German, I imagine, telling whatever interviewer he was talking to, 100%. He was our guy. He's talking about that guy. I don't know anything about that. I'm memeing around. I'm just memeing around, but because I don't have this fear of racism and I speak freely somewhat, unless I'm unless I'm listening to mommy YouTube. Okay, whatever. I got to overcome. But anyways, look, I like making jokes and speaking freely, right? It's nice to see that and all that. So I'm playing around, but there are people seriously concerned about so-called racism. Okay, so-called racism in Germany, they have these crazy laws, just so you know. But there's people concerned. They got the internet people concerned, okay? Hassan Abi, you may know him a little bit. And I appreciate the patience, callers. 888-775-3773. Hassan 𝒏𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒂𝒍�, you know the guy. He's like that communist on Twitch and YouTube. He has a video about this. He titled "Racists Start Revealing Their Power Levels in Europe." Yeah, they're hiding their they got their 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 boosts, and they're not taking this lion down. AUSLANDER RAUS. And I'm going to play you a little bit of Hassan Abi to show you the communist, I don't know, communist POC Western mind here that can't seem to comprehend the sound of Europe rising. Bam, bam, and you know, I'm not with anger and all that, and I might nitpick on that a little bit in a bit, but I want to just put that on display, just like incredulous, like why would white people, why would Europeans just start becoming racist all of a sudden? I just don't understand. Like, there's just no reason at all.
Oh, here.
So he starts off his little segment here talking about this video of a clash between what's, you know, Israel, Irish. He's calling himself IDF, radical. I don't know. They're saying that he's radical and racist, and he was confronted by a young black lady about this. And Hassan Abi is commenting, and I am too here. What an inception. This is the lowest form of podcasting. Okay, let's just watch.
Dirty Muslim. They've been anti-Semitic. A young girl. They're anti-Semitic.
You are vile. You just assaulted a young girl. Okay.
You are below poor excuse for a human being.
You're below what? I can't even make that out. You're below blah, 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 even me?
How dare you?
How dare you? You're below me.
Mustache. Like, that is the Hitler. This dance move is called doing the Hitler. Those European
All right, bud. Then he starts talking about the right wing in Germany.
Are probably no longer with us because they also shifted right, especially after the incredibly militant attitude that people had once Russia unjustifiably invaded Ukraine.
See, this is so interesting about this Twitch communist guy. You know, I call him that, but he's like progressive. He's a progressive. And it's so interesting about these guys. Well, how is it that both Destiny, if you know who I'm talking about, how is it that both Destiny, who is just a total pro-establishment guy, he's a progressive too, but he's not like a communist like Hassan here. And in this political Twitch political world, you know, these people got a lot of views. There's this distinction, right? I guess Destiny would be on the right of Hassan Abi here, but how is it that both of them are total establishment shills, like total regime apologists? Russia's just, you understand what I'm saying here? Because this is the same guy who's like imperialist America. It's all this colonialism crap. You got to free the oppressed. Whoa, Russia, scary, man. I guess that's more colonialism, but he seems to suddenly agree with the regime. You know, how is it always that way? Don't you find that interesting? Shallow. And what's so scary here? I'll let him finish.
Plenty of those European EU chatters probably left, and now unironically talk about how like my kind of politics is genuinely way scarier than like the Nazi sentiment expressed expressed by whatever version of like far right radicalism that occurs on in their own countries.
He's talking about irony and showing a picture of Giorgia Meloni in the far right headline. This is the same female Italian prime minister who felt bad for the immigrants she was going to be tough on and started saving them and letting them in again. Like, this is the same Giorgia Meloni. What a bunch of baloney.
But once you have an enemy that goes for the roots, and that's exactly what's happening right now, going for the roots of our democracy, it's very dangerous because it goes to the vital parts of our democracy.
So he's going to respond to that video of some guy in Germany criticizing the far right that's going after the roots of Germany, democracy. You know, these people talk about roots. It's so... Anyway, let him finish.
What is it about the 20s and 30s and centuries that fascism just loves to go full mask off? I mean, it's a cycle, right? It takes 100 years for this level of resentment to build up once again.
Dang, and I guess that's where most people's kind of fears lie. They see the right wing, they hear Ausländer RAUS, and they think, okay, well, they think war, World War II. Resentment, racism, and stuff. And I guess what we can agree on is the litmus test of anger. All people of anger are evil, and they'll do so-called racist things. But there's a focus, a very evil and targeted focus on white people, Germans, Europeans, that really, it just kind of, it takes away all the teeth from what the people who are talking about racism. It takes away all their teeth. You know what I mean? Like, this is the very thing you're talking about. You get it. But what is so scary here, Hassan Abi? I guess it's, well, if people start feeling this way, they'll start kicking out immigrants. I don't know, guys. It's just this resentment he's talking about. There's a one-sided conversation here that just loves to keep adding to that resentment. And the media looking at these Germans going, Ausländer RAUS, like, can we talk about the rape refugees? Can we talk about the, all that crap? You get it? And literal laws in Germany against white people. Like, you might not see it that way, but you can't be you can't, it's banned speech. Imagine banning speech of Germans, of Americans who are speaking about history even sometimes. Like, it's crazy. You get it. So, and they mean it too. They mean it too. The police and stuff in Germany, they're not playing around. Xenophobia and all that. This language is everywhere. Over here, over there. And the police are all involved on this. Check it out. Xenophobic phrases triggered an outrage. One of them can also be seen making what appears to be a banned Hitler salute. That's banned in Germany. So police can investigate this guy. Can you imagine that? Like, let's say he really believed that stuff or something like that. What's the spirit of free speech and all that? I'm just saying stuff, but putting stuff in your mind to get you think, look, this is from the police. It's a Twitter post here. Dieses Video ist uns bekannt und wird hinsichtlich strafrechtlich relevanter, that was kind of French sounding, that wasn't German, Inhalt geprüft. This video is known to us and is being checked for criminally relevant content. Criminally relevant content. Which is believed to have occurred over the weekend on the German island of Sylt at a bar called Pony. So that's what's going on there. Move this around here. What a mess. What an absolute mess. And I have a caller here. Let's break this up a little bit. Why not? Let's break it up a bit here. Because I have this thing here about Eurovision today. And I think you'll find this interesting. Going through some of these some of the contestants for Eurovision 2024. Fascinated a couple of things here, and hopefully you'll see it as well, because I got a whole thing here. We're going to take our time getting through it. But you get it so far. You know, anybody know any Rammstein? How do you say that band? Rammstein? Du hast. You know that song, Du hast, Mike. Shout out if you know that song in the chat. But, you know, they got a particular sound. It's all tough. They say they coined it as a genre back in the early 2000s. New Deutsch Hart. NDH, which is a subgenre crossover of alternative metal, groove metal, and other stuff, okay? And I'm just reading this from the Wikipedia. The lyrics often contain phrases laden with shock topics like extreme forms of sadomasochism, necrophilia, incest, cannibalism, ambiguous references to Nazi Germany. And then it makes sure to add this in the Wikipedia article. Rammstein has made several songs distancing themselves from Nazism, especially the song Deutschland. They have a song called Germany, Deutschland. And I mean, this is the thumbnail for the music video on YouTube. You know, hey, look, I get it. Love is love. Love is love. I get it. Love is love. They love each other. But I'm just saying. Rammstein is definitely distancing themselves from the Nazis and the right wing and anything based and normal. Anyways, I should take this off screen. If this was the Hake Report, I would have censored that, folks. But anyways, Rammstein, I disavow. Is it Rammstein? Evil miscegenation. You know, I get it. I'm not personally. I don't go around thinking like, oh, look at that interracial couple, like whatever. People do that. I really do agree with what Jesse says. The source of that is this rift between your own family. So hey, examine that. But a lot of people find themselves in this or that kind of marriage, and they wake up and they work on themselves. You hear it all the time on the JLP shows. No. Anyways, you get it. Look, miscegenation. What a mess. Germany distancing themselves from anything normal, or at least Rammstein is. But we'll get into more here. Let's first talk to Don out of Michigan. I appreciate your call, sir. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick.
How you
doing? I was just calling to prove that I am not AI, as far as I know.
Nice. Okay. So this is we'll say this is at least a step forward, a step closer to proving reality. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Omni and Gemini, but
yeah,
they're doing voices
Gemini
now.
Every time I try to do a Google search, I see the Gemini thing pops up.
Don from Michigan is realer than anybody who hasn't called. He's definitely in that level. So,
yeah, I go by Modern Gentleman in the chat.
Nice. Hey, thank you so much for that. Right on.
Yeah, I wanted to I was thinking about something while I was on hold, if you don't mind.
For sure. Thanks.
Talking about this Israeli and Palestine thing that's been going on. My neighbor, yes. I got this neighbor that is a liberal, and ever since I've voted for Trump the first time, I've been flying a Trump flag right underneath my American flag in my yard. And so every time he goes by and sees me outside, he'll be like flipping me off and,
no way.
F you and all this stuff. And he has yelled several times out his window, calling me a Nazi.
No.
And so I don't know if anybody else like experiences that or is thinking about this, but I just thought it was so interesting that this guy he's got this pro-Palestine propaganda in his yard and stuff like that now. And it's so interesting to me that this guy that is, he's for the destruction of the Jewish state is calling me a Nazi. I just think that's so ironic.
Definitely. They can't really see beyond this oppression and anger and all that. It's hard to really speak to someone like that. Well, it's a mess when they got it all on their front yard and all that.
Yeah, really. And it makes me wonder, like, if the guy even realizes what he's saying to me or what, if he even knows what a Nazi was or, you know what I mean? It just is crazy to me.
It's definitely emotional words. That's the level. That's how deep people's thinking go. It's emotional. They've tied the emotion they get of oppressed and feeling bad for people to the word Nazi, and then it's bada bing. Oh, Israel, they're Nazis. They're oppressors. That it's all emotional.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's nuts. It is so nuts to me.
Colonizers, they're white. I don't know. They'll say certain things, which is also strange too. You know, I don't know if they see themselves like that. Like white.
I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't even. And he's an old white guy. I mean, whatever. I'm not trying to put the guy in a class of people, and I don't hate him or whatever. But I just think it's so interesting. Like he doesn't even.
Would you say? So he's yelled things to you?
Yeah, he's yelled out, "You Nazi," and this stuff. You know, because as soon as I hung my Trump flag underneath my American flag, he started yelling that I was a Nazi and all this. And
okay, so he's yelled at you. He's called you a Nazi. Has he come up to your face? What? Anything else?
No, he just does it while he's driving.
While he's driving,
Nazi.
Outside, we can work with that. We can work with that. Let's say we can work with that. We can work with that. We need to turn this into October 7th here, so you can appropriate his You can annex his home and get rid of the Hamas. That's your neighborly Hamas here. We could work with that. Say that he called you a Nazi and threatened to kill your dog.
Huh.
That'll do it. No, I'm just messing around at this point.
Yeah.
Your neighbor's not Hamas. I'm just messing around.
No, I know that, you know what I mean? And I don't know, he just gets caught up in all this emotional nonsense, and like he just wants, I don't know, maybe he just wants to stand for something, or he's just towing the party line and he thinks that's what he should be doing.
I'm just a little amazed someone would even go that far. No matter what the politics and all that, they're willing to drive, and that's their neighbor too, and yell those kinds of things. You know, you have to be completely unhinged.
I mean, he's a little kooky, and he always has been. So I've been there for 10 years, and so he's always been a little kooky. But
gotcha.
Like I never had any real issues with him or anything. But man, when I started flying that Trump flag, he just has this visceral hate for me ever since then.
Isn't that an interesting effect that Trump and all that has had? The effect it's had on people, like I'm talking about people around me. I remember when he first kind of came on the scene politically. Everyone around me who had never cared about politics, and I was in Canada, mind you. Like I'm growing up in Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
And they cared nothing about politics. They never said a single thing about it. Never. And then suddenly they're all like CNN, Democrats, like all the way. They're Canadians too. They're like, no, this guy's that, like repeating everything. I'm like, wow, there's something. There's a demon going around here.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot to do with the kind of viral connectivity we have now, too. You know what I mean? Where you have this constant, 24/7 access to information, and you're bombarded with it all the time, and it's, you know what I mean, elicits these emotions and stuff. So I think it's got a lot to do with that, too.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, that's been a huge change, and that happened during Trump's presidency, the end of Obama. This huge... I keep saying it, but the ubiquitousness of the smartphone. Now everyone has one.
Yeah, and like everything has turned into this kind of dichotomy where it's this hero villain, and it's got to be either one or the other, and everybody, it's like everybody thinks that they got to find somebody to hate anymore. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, man.
Like
that's the
I don't
worst.
have to, like you don't have to hate me to disagree with me, and I don't have to agree with you to love you either.
True, absolutely, and that makes us look so bad when I see our side taking on fights in the same way.
Yep. It's you don't have to hate somebody to tell them the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's major. That's major.
But yeah, I really just appreciate you guys' show. I appreciate everybody at Bond, all you guys. I love hearing your perspective all the time. And
yeah, man, thank you,
I really
Don.
love what you guys do. I really appreciate it.
Call me again, Don. Hey, and man, the new AI voice models are pretty darn good, Don. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not AI. I swear.
Hey, that's what AI would say. That's what AI would say. No.
You're right.
No. I told people to call in and prove their, and I'm already giving the people calling in crap.
Yeah, that's what I told your call screener. He was laughing about it. I'm just calling to prove I'm not AI.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Don.
Have a good one, Nick.
888-775-3773. Hey, he's realer than all y'all. He's realer than all y'all in the chat. You're pretty, as far as I'm concerned, most of you are just code. Most of you are just CIA code. No, okay, calm down. Incredible. Incredible. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that call. 888-775-3773. Let me check a little bit of something here. Because you can buy me a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/anchor, baby. I'll read it out loud here. It's a way to super chat. You can super chat here on YouTube. Rumble rants if you'd like. But I'm thinking about Maze a little bit. Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. Called James Hake earlier. You know, she says, point blank, you ask her, and other callers on the network, you ask them, is there an anti-white thing going on? They say no, straight up. That doesn't exist. But okay, that's too far for some. They'll say there's no problem with the change in demographics, homosexuality, replacement demographics, the war between parents and children, kissing up to people who got problems and not really helping, fake love, feminism, you know. That's not really a problem. They can't even see it happening, okay? Anyways. You know, as I told you earlier, I was, there's something about Eurovision that got my attention. I don't know why. The contest itself, and then, of course, the entries for this year. And, you know, it's some crap. It's some crap. Like, I'm talking just musically and like, as a track in the modern age. I don't know. I'm trying to look at it as like a music reviewer. There's some crap. There's some pretty good one. The one that won, Switzerland won, which is interesting. I believe Switzerland has not won since 1956. And a guy won. A guy won. I think it's a fine song, actually. It's a interesting song. But what I wanted to show you here, it is. Just kind of put together a couple of the contestants here, and seeing the hero in the first few here, you'll see the men, kind of a couple of the men contestants, and they're all feminine. They got makeup on, like except for like this one, Joost Klein from the Netherlands, with his song Europapa. Kind of actually a pro, like Europe, almost like European Union type dance track, where he's showing some sort of it's like nationalism, but European Unionism. And he's like, I'll live in Europe forever, Europapa. And it's like the only if they're not with makeup or feminine, then they're just like a silly like this. Which I don't necessarily have a problem with. I'm just showing you a little bit of Eurovision.
Welkom in Europa, blijf hier tot ik dood ga. Europapa, Europapa.
It's Europapa. Okay, the American mind cannot comprehend this, I think. Okay, this guy, this is Baby Lasagna. Baby Lasagna from the Croats. What happened to the Croats? Okay, they got the first tough sounding song, kind of like Rammstein a little bit. Rammstein? And it's all tough, but it's some dude with like winglet eyes, and maybe it's like a punk thing. But the punks were always kind of like painting their faces and nails, a little kind of theater kiddish is what this guy gives me. And I don't know, I didn't like this one. It's all I thought pedestrian, honestly, derivative, honestly, if I must say so myself.
Gonna miss my hay, gonna miss my bed. Most of all, I'ma miss the dance. So come on, y'all, let us prance.
Let us prance. I had to leave that one in for Lin Yan Chin. Where's Lin Yan Chin? Okay, this one now. Maybe you guys know this one. This is a mess and should be censored maybe. This is Finland. Finland. What's wrong with Finland, man? The Finnish. Finland. They're talking about no rules. This is Windows 95 man with no rules.
Windows 95 man, and I only live by one rule, and the rule is no rules.
Like.
Let's go, no rules. In the heat of the night, in the thrill of the fight, I don't even care what's wrong.
Okay, wow, Eurovision. They're bringing the heat. I personally thought this one was also a little it's below the standards of the other songs here. Let's be real. It's below the standards of the other entries, and it really doesn't come up to the level of production value of the other ones, in my opinion. A little derivative like the last one. I'm using my critic voice, I guess. And degenerate, beyond degenerate, no rules. Let's just, I don't even know what to tell you about that. Just like no rules. Like, hey, like that's what I live by. I'm like, I don't care about anything. And that's good. This is like a good thing. We should put this in a song. The funny thing about that is, like a recent video I showed you, like that atheist song, remember? They really do see it as good. So it's not really, it doesn't really help, I guess, to just say, well, that's bad. So I'm not here trying to help them. I'm just saying they really do see that as good. Like no rules. There is no heaven. I've always understood that as like really guilty people, like a really guilty kind of mindset, like Christianity and all that made me feel so guilty. It made me feel so guilty. Like when you tie all that up with guilt, it's hard to see it otherwise. Trauma and all that growing up. Anyways, judge and stuff. It's Finland here. Anyways, let's move on. We got to show you the Eurovision. We got to do this. Okay, hold on. Okay, move on from that one.
No rules.
All right, thanks. Okay, this guy. See, this is actually, this is the winner. This is Switzerland, The Code by Nemo. I gotta say, production value, like it's like a good song. It's like well put together, like it's got a story, like it's interesting yet modern. This little fruitcake made a good song. It's like the winner had to be a fruitcake, which is a term of endearment. Oh, Armenia. You guys got to see this one. Different language. The translation is at the bottom here. Let's see if I could lower the volume. Maybe just say the translation out loud. My name is �𝒂𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Okay, wait, I can't even see that. How am I going to do this? Let me see here. Output 1. Boom. I can see. Okay, the lyrics are, she's like, her name's �𝒂𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, right? �𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, be humble, are the other people in this song telling �𝒂𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. They're talking to �𝒔𝒂𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, the singer. �𝒔𝒂𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, be humble. Don't talk too much. Don't stay too quiet. Wear this, open this, close that. Behave like a girl. But I am a free girl, says �𝒂𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, so I will dance and you will watch. Okay, it's over. It's over for Armenia. Say goodbye to Armenia. Say goodbye to Armenia. It's over. It's over. Who knew the end of society would be so catchy? And that's it with the Eurovision. We're done. Don't worry. An Israel song came in 5th. Let that sink in. Yes, Gunner, thank you for the super chat and the reminder. Yeah, there was a song from Israel, Hurricane, Eden Golan. You know, it's interesting. The song from a musical and production kind of like a, I don't know, songwriting approach or whatever. It sounds very like American. I mean, I guess a lot of the other ones did too, but there's something so Adele about this. And, this was, I think the song is sort of about, like, what's going on. Oh, that's a good point. Yes, Gunner. How come I didn't clue into that? I'm sorry. I'm an anchor, baby. Yes, Gunner with the second super chat says Israel isn't a part of Europe. Yeah, wait, hold on. Croatia, Netherlands, Switzerland, Ukraine. Ukraine had this song about Mother Mary Teresa. We'll get to the... We're done with the Eurovision clip, I think. Won't do the other lady songs, but I'll tell you real quick. It's all... The point I wanted to say with that is show you how feminine. They're talking about Mother Teresa and Mother Mary, how the world is on their backs, the Ukrainian girls, the Italian girl. They got a very French-looking guy for France. So that's pretty much the skinny on the Eurovision stuff. But that's an interesting super chat. Yes, Gunner, is Israel part of Europe or the Middle East? Hey, Europapa, what's up, Troy? Thank you, Troy. I'm like the only one. I'm like the only one that feels the same way. Eurovision is kind of cool. I mean, whatever. You judge. Go be judgers. And especially like the stuff before. But yeah, that's an interesting super chat. Thank you for that. Yes, Gunner. I don't know how Israel won fifth. Maybe it's newly part of Europe. The new Europe. The new greater Europe. Anyways. 888-775-3773. I see people on hold. I'll get to you here. Appreciate the patience. I am a little fascinated. We'll finish with this here. What else? I think that's it on that. I'll say this about it. I'm fascinated with what's happening to Europe, the West, the world. Whatever, all that. It's demonstrated in a lot of ways through this videos I showed you, the culture and all that. And every day I see more and more that people really do. Look, Europe needs to forgive their mothers. And to most people, that's like a crazy statement. Like you hear that and it's total mystery to some. But it's the whole answer. And we're talking about feminism, homosexuality, the replacement demographics, the war between the parents and children. We all sort of agree, at least people here, most of us, we all kind of sort of agree that things are going the wrong way. Okay? And there's things to say about politics, sovereignty, and all that. But can we talk about individuals here for a moment? The way everything went wrong. I'm sure many saw the sexual degeneracy, I guess, on display with some of the Eurovision stuff. And you got to wonder, though, the source of it all. I'm going to play you this clip later on Fox News. This guy, Greg Gutfeld, he was talking about the world a little bit. And he said something interesting. He said, if it was all men, the world would just be war, crime, and perversion, and pornography. And if it was all women, he said something like lame. I forget what he said, but it's like, I don't know, like long conversations. It's like, oh yeah, that's so bad. But I'm like I was saying yesterday, it's a total secret that so many people don't even know. And this role of men and women and where hell comes from, the role that men play, how it starts with the woman, but it will only end with the man. So we'll get into all that. We'll get into that. Because, we're talking sometimes about pornography. Remember the other day we were talking about it. Banning it, Candace Owens was saying. And me, I'm not saying no. But I'm just seeing a bunch of posers in her comments going like, yeah, Candace, right on. I'm not a degenerate like these perverted men. Not understanding. And then those same men will then go home and be dominated by their mother, by their wife, by their girlfriend, sisters, not realizing the true source of that perversion and pornography, for example. Just a little teaser. We'll get into it later here. But I do have a call. I have a call first. We're going to get to Lawrence out of Idaho. who traveling in Cali. How you doing, Lawrence? Heard you on Joel. Appreciate your call.
Oh, I came down listening. I've spoken with you when I was up there. I get a chance to
Yeah.
come down here and listen. I've been listening to all of them, getting a little
Thank you,
worked
sir.
up. You know, when you're looking at it, yeah, it's the man's role, and we're held accountable. We're judged heavy, and men aren't standing by their daughters. We're not protecting our daughters. And then when you get divorced going stupid, a new man comes in the picture. He's a man. He's sexually attracted to the lady, and the father's not protecting his daughter because the father will be the only one that protects the daughter. So you're breaking the family up. But they're also doing it through the woman, and the woman. It's porn. It's really coming to a head. And then you're looking at it. I was listening to all these songs. I'm trying to follow you, going, why all this? Well, look at the music. Look at where it is. Look at it all. And by the way, Israel's Middle East, below Syria, below all that. But yet everybody's trying to work that. Why is everyone attacking Israel? God. The reason why is because, well, you look at it. Do we really have power to make things happen, or are we just told to do what's right and to strive to be godly and do the right thing, and God moves it from there? If Trump is not to be the president, God will not. He won't be. If God doesn't want something to happen, I'm not God. I can't make it happen. It's frustrating to watch our government think they have the power to make these things happen when in the end, did Afghanistan, did the Middle East go the way we want it? Did all the wars go the way we want it? No, because God has. He's the one in charge of this whole thing. So they try to take God out of people. When we took God out of school, we have school shootings. When we take God out of men, we have ungodly men. God out of women, they think the value is what's in between their legs, and they don't live as a lady's supposed to. God out of family, divorce is off the chart. God out of government, our government's gone stupid. We've removed God out of everything, the Ten Commandments, whatever it is. And look where we're at. Look how the world is. Music, same thing. So I was listening to the songs. I'm like, yeah. What's the common denominator of everything? We removed God.
I'm following you, man. I can't disagree. Removing God, how did that, can you kind of explain that a little bit? Like, how did that happen? I guess
power. We want to be God. That's the sad thing about it. And then when you talk to people that his coming or anything else, and they're like, they don't want it because they're afraid. If he doesn't, they're going to miss out on the pleasures of the earth. Isn't it amazing I can get you to eat dog poop? I've said it before. Just slowly add your dog poop to your ice cream, and slowly you'll get used to eating it, and you'll be chasing your dog around for your dessert. It's what it is. So when you attack and you start taking God out of things and start replacing, we used to have families where they sat down and ate dinner together, where they worked as a unit. We separate. Look at school. It segregates. It removes. It separates. They've taken the father out of many of the actions. Then when you keep on telling somebody, if one person says you stink, you're like, nothing. When two people tell you you've got a smell to you, you'll start smelling your armpit. The third person that tells you you'll be going home to take a shower. The more you hear it, the more you start thinking about it. Somebody says, it's actions get you to heaven. Actions speak louder than words. Your actions will show exactly where you're at and what you're doing. You practice what you preach. So if you believe in something, you practice it. You can't just preach it. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite.
I'm following you, sir. Can you give me an example of how you seeing that maybe a little bit? And maybe also a little bit on how to bring it back.
People say they want love, but they're not loving anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. In Idaho, we used to wave. Okay, people are complaining. I ask people, I say, are you waving? I speak to couples, and I ask the man, I say, do you believe in God? Well, yeah, they always do. And I say, do you believe that we're sinners, or are we given the inherent temptation to sin? As God says, if your eye is going to sin, pluck it out before you do it. So the sin is the temptation. The action is the actual sin.
You said
Lot's wife looking back is the sin, even though she desired Sodom and Gomorrah and God knew it. But what I was meaning is, if you're upset that people aren't waving, why aren't you waving first?
If you're upset that people are waving?
Not waving, saying good morning.
Yeah. I'm following you.
Nobody holds the door open for anybody.
You're talking about self-responsibility, like looking in the mirror before you judge someone else.
point your finger at somebody, quit pointing your finger, look at the three at you. And God's speaking to you through the thumb. Nobody's looking at this. People aren't coming from love. Everything is me, me, me. Nobody's giving me anything. And then we give all the power to these musicians or athletes. We got $1 million football player wants to be the top man. What for? What skill? What does he bring to the world? Is he bringing love?
I'm following. May I ask something, Lawrence? Because I'm following, man. It makes sense. You know, and then I think about the world and what they say, and I realize that they use kind of similar language. You know, despite although I'm following you and I agree, I look at the world and they say similar things. They say, well, no, you gotta love, you can't be hateful, you know what I'm saying? And so I guess I'm asking you, Lawrence, what do you think is the disconnect? Because in the people that are using the same language, in a sense, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know how the liberals, you gotta love. So that's the disconnect. That's what's missing in them. That's even though they're saying the same thing, what's the difference?
God.
Would you say some Christians are the same?
Yes, they don't have God. See, that's what's so
That's interesting. Go ahead.
Everybody's got their way to God. Really? Are you practicing it or are you doing it? Are you coming from a place of love? People say we're sinners, inherently sinners. We have sin. I said, really? So do you cheat on your wife? He goes, no. I said, then why are you cheating on God? And if you are saying that it's okay to sin, then you're cheating on your wife. Huh. Because if you can remain faithful to your wife, you can remain faithful to God. Period. People say, oh, he speaks in some of the things he speaks in things. Jesus spoke in parables. It's called a picture. You paint the picture so people can see it. Practice what you preach means it's an action. You have to have actions to show that you do it. Don't just speak it.
And so wait, so is it, you're saying, so I'm following, okay, wait, hold on. I just want to make one thing, I guess I want to make something clear here. On the example of the Christians, because you're saying you got to practice it, you can't just say it, you got to do it. And then I asked you about the Christians who are saying it, but they're really, you know, they still have problems. They're no different than the world. You're saying, well, they too are missing God. So I guess to make this even more accurate to understand here, what's wrong with those Christians who seem to be saying and doing it? What are they not doing? What is exactly that they're not doing that is keeping them from God, I guess? Are you understanding me a little bit?
They're still coming of self. They're still coming of self. We're supposed to be, it's hard as it's the hardest thing to do, be selfless. It's hard to actually stop and say, if you look at love God, love others, and every commandment you obey, because all the other commandments depend on those too. So you stop and you say, am I loving another person by doing that? People don't do that. Before you write a letter, you're going to blast somebody or anything, write it, sit it down for a day and chew on it. Same thing when you're doing something. Stop a moment before acting and see where you're coming from. If you're coming from a place of good or bad. I was coming down to California. I'm driving my car. I'm getting angry because I hit a huge boulder. Something took out the whole undercarriage of my car.
Oh, man.
I'm stuck at a friggin' car lot. This happened on 2 nights ago, 1 o'clock. I'm stuck at a truck stop. I'm a long ways away from where I'm at in Idaho. I'm on my way. I'm driving my gear killer car. My Bronco's up, and I had it disassembled. Do I chew out God? Do I cuss God? Get angry? Selfish? No, I said, God, what do you have in store for me? Why is everything hitting me? Why has it always got to be something hitting you? Maybe it's a lesson you need to learn. So when I'm there, I'm talking to other people, and some people saying, God, I'm glad you came here. I needed to hear it. On the drive down, I'm over at the pass on the 15th, and a young man, Hispanic guy, he's got his family, and he's like, and he needed to hear. I said, you're doing good. He said, I needed to hear that. God put you here for that reason. But if I didn't break down, I wouldn't have spoke with him. I wouldn't have seen the others. I wouldn't have been able to give back. Okay. If I was so busy about me, I would never have listened about others.
Okay.
We're not loved. The key fact that everybody's missing is God. What is God? Love.
I'm following so far, sir. And I get it. Like having that real love, it'll show in your actions, and you'll be sincere, like you said. You'll do the things and say the things that you're saying. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you.
Some guy says you can't make it to heaven through action, but isn't your action showing that you're on your path to heaven? If your actions aren't there, giving money is not going to make you to heaven. But if you give and you talk and you speak and you're faithful and all your actions come from a place of godliness and love, are you not practicing what you preach? Are you not on the path, as in progress, Pilgrim's Progress, to make it to heaven? Am I perfect? No. But I'm perfectly made. Can
I ask you this? So I'm following you so far. Let's say you meet me on the street, and I'm like, man, Lawrence, I'm a Christian too, but I'm not doing those sincere things. I'm not saying those things. I want to. I'm about to speak to someone, and I know I should be kind or sincere or whatever, and it comes out a different way. Lawrence, what's wrong with me?
Nothing. You just did something great. By you looking at it, you made yourself better. You're adding to yourself. And the more you do, the more it is. It's like you're a car. A mechanic, I use this analogy. It's just picture a mechanic. He is not good until he works on his car a lot. How do you keep yourself working nobody's perfect. It's called maintenance. You change the oil. And the more maintenance you use and do, the same way as your maintenance with Christianity, the more you not preach, but share. It's not to preach. Open your mouth and share a little bit and listen. Take cotton out of your ears, put it in your mouth, and the people will tell you something. Don't preach to people. People hate preaching. What they want to hear is, are they doing good? Show the goodness in them and say, this is where the improvement can be. Quit poking your finger at the wrongs of what people are or Russia, and look at how beautiful their people are.
Are those people that you're pointing out to improve, are those people, do they have God and love in them or not? That's what I don't understand.
We all have God, the capability of God in us. God is there, but we have to allow him. Does God want to live in a sewer? No.
But you're saying that your actions will show it if you really have what? If you have what again? I forget. If you're really following God?
Speak louder than words. If you are, if you're saying you're a Christian, your actions will show it.
Gotcha. And so, yeah. So, am I still a Christian if I can't do those things? I guess.
Christian is pretty much a belief.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this final question.
If you believe it, you will act upon it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Practice what you believe. If you believe it, you will be it. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite.
So that's what I want to ask. So are the people that you're pointing out and saying, hey, you can work on this, I'm showing you love so you can work on this. Are those people hypocrites? Because they're not.
Nobody's a hypocrite unless they see. The hypocrite is the one that says he does something and doesn't. If I'm telling you all this stuff, but I don't act upon it in my life, then what am I? A power trip. I think
I'm following you, sir. Can I ask you one final question?
No, but I could have. I'm still a vet. But I don't say, hey, I'm this badass when I didn't do what they did. But yet I'm still a vet. I'm still honorable because I've done that. I put myself in a place where I could be. I didn't charge the beaches of Normandy, but it could have been me if it was at that time.
I think I understand you, man. And personally, the way I see it is the actions aren't the sin. It can't be, because many times people don't want to do those actions. They don't want to. So to me, that can't be the sin. The sin starts inside, but the actions can kind of show you what's inside a little bit. I wouldn't recommend going around judging, I guess, but I understand where you're coming from. Final question to really understand. Final question. Right on, Lawrence.
Never judge, you discern.
Final question for you: what's the difference between you and anybody? What's the difference between? Yeah, is there any difference between you and the other people we've sort of described so far?
No, sin is sin. People don't understand. One sin is not above another.
Are you a hypocrite as well, then?
Am I a hypocrite as well? Yes. So I have to work on it. So I'm not.
I get you.
I'm never not going to be not a hypocrite.
That's interesting. Why do you say that?
Because by me talking this way, it's the same thing. When a person thinks they can never improve, they'll never improve.
I guess I understand, man. But I guess I understand that. But how? Perfect. I guess I understand in a like physical sense. There's all sorts of things you can improve.
Sense. You've heard the saying: when you know everything, you know nothing. You'll always learn. You're always learning. Now, do I
We got to move this a little faster, Lawrence. My apologies. I got to cut you off. We got to move this a little faster, Lawrence. Let me ask you real quick. What are your thoughts on the Bible saying be perfect?
Being perfect means that you're striving to be godly. Doesn't mean you're good. Jesus even said he is not good, only God is good. I strive to be godly. Strive means that my actions are striving to be that way, and God sees your actions. But when you stop doing it, when you stop practicing what you preach, you will end up doing the opposite because you're practicing in the opposite. The more you lie, the more you will lie.
Is there such a thing as being...
The more you hate.
Is there such a thing, this is just me is there such a thing as working at being born again? And I understand process and like growing and the ego, but I'm on board.
Born again is a belief, and if your actions show you're born again, you're born again.
And is there in your estimation, is there a process or levels to getting closer to the Father, for example? Or are you just there or not?
There's no levels. There's no levels. The reason why I can't read the Bible, reading the Bible is reading the Bible. There's no levels of anything, of hierarchy or anything else. What it is you're either a Christian or not, and you're practicing it so that you sin less. The more I practice to be loving, the less I hate. The more I practice to hate, that's the reason why all this music, the more you listen to it, the more power you give to this, the more it will manipulate you and you will be as it. Misery loves company. The more if I want to live sickly, I want to get more people to be sick, so it gives me a reason. That's why the liberalism is a disease, a mental disorder, and they're creating more. That's the reason why they're going after trying to get people love homosexuals, because you're going to have more. Now 1 out of 5 people are gay, transgender, or a dog.
Well, thanks, Lawrence. I appreciate you answering my questions. I'll let you know if I know for sure. I just want to ask you some things I've heard to, I guess, see how you'd respond, see if I understand anything. Man, thank you, Lawrence. Fascinating stuff. Can you call me again?
You got it. Always call. I love your show. Take
Thank
care.
you, sir.
Have a good day.
888-775-3773. A little patience. We'll get right to you here. Or should we do it now? I think we'll do it now. Let's get to Maze. Let's get to Maze here. Yeah, let's get to Maze, Ohio. Appreciate your call, Maze. How you doing?
Oh, Nick, you said there was a question that you had. Did I see it today?
Wait, what?
About somebody being after Caucasians?
You said on the Hake Report today that you don't think there's any such thing as anti-white stuff going on. That's amazing.
I don't.
What makes you say that?
Because tell me what. Give me an example.
An example is the fact that racism is such a big conspiracy all over media, writing, academics. We're talking ingrained in the schools for decades. We're talking multiple generations of students indoctrinated with a racism mentality. Not just, let's talk about history and slave. No, it's today. There are things happening today. There are evils happening to these your white students that are in the class with you. They have a racism in them today. So that's like deep in the school systems, deep in the media, deep in writing, deep in the academic elite, deep in we're talking in corporate America. We're talking about probably every single top 500 NASDAQ company is enacting diversity policies and outrightly removing white people. White people are being outrightly removed from all top parts of a society. If you saw Jennifer Lucero, the dean of admissions at UCLA recently, openly saying, even though it was illegal to do so, that she was getting mad that other people at the UCLA were saying, hey, you're letting in all these people who are unqualified to be doctors. And she said, don't you know that black people are dying more? Shall I keep going?
Yes, because all of that you just came out with, I still you haven't convinced me that they're trying to remove Caucasians. Because if you look at the Senate, you look at the courts, and you look at all of these different things that's ruling everybody besides, all groups of people. What do they look like?
I guess I'm not sure who you're talking about.
The court.
I don't see them.
You look
Show
at
me a
Senate.
picture. Show me. I'm being obtuse.
Probably
white. Probably white. I'm being obtuse for no reason.
Well, whatever you say, and you will be tracked too. These some were speaking Spanish, and you were in the same boat.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
I'm in the same boat of what?
If you're trying to say that the Caucasian man, white man is in, just because he said it, doesn't make it true. Everything he said doesn't have to be true.
But what boat am I in?
Yes.
You said I'm in the same boat of what?
You're a minority too.
Maybe. Some people say I'm white.
You may be in it. Just like Canada. What do Canada think about Americans?
I'm just playing around. Hey, what about Canada? But you're saying I'm in the same boat as a minority. What do you mean? What's going to happen to me?
What's going to happen to you? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't know. What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, you walk around in fear with all this.
I don't walk around in fear.
When somebody come out to come and get the Caucasians, I don't see nobody coming after them.
You think they're going to deport me or something?
Well, if they think you don't have, if you don't have citizenship and they don't think you have,
I am an American citizen. My family,
well, a lot of Americans,
my family abused the immigration laws fair and square.
They've been picked up by mistake, and they were citizens.
They were illegals, and they had an anchor baby. You know, I'll say this, Maze, I don't even fear deport. Like, what? I get it. A lot of people, they've made their lives immigrants, multiple generations, even some of them. But if it comes to that, why is that just a bad thing? Why can't it also be a good thing? Why is it only bad? Why is it only bad? Like, imagine people going back to their homelands with a new ignited I don't know, spirit to make their homeland better. And all people did that. Like, why does it only have to be bad?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they could make their homeland better from somebody else standing on their property and their resources, it could be better. But somebody else is there, sipping them up and making their life better with it. That's what I think. If people from other countries had their own land and their own, they wouldn't have to worry about wars and all this fighting.
That's what nationalism is. What if it was nationalism for all? Everyone with their homelands. So why is it only bad if people get kicked out?
It wouldn't be
if I went back to Colombia and started bond in Colombia or something. Or they deported me to Canada. I don't know. Like, who cares?
What do you think would happen?
Say again, Mace?
What do you think would happen if you did?
What would happen if I got deported?
You ain't started bonding, yes.
I would start bond wherever I go.
Mm-hmm. So it's like if you really looking, saying who's after, they think somebody after them. I don't think nobody's after them. And that's you didn't convince me.
But we're just living in fantasy land. Like, that's...
I'm living in the real world.
I guess it's realer than...
You living in fantasy land because you said you were born again. So how can you be born again when you got
When did I say that?
You said it one day. You said, I've been born again.
I said that? I did not say that.
You did.
No, I know. I'm very careful with that. Listen.
Oh, you were just joking.
Well, then maybe I didn't know what I was saying. I'm sorry, Maze. Can I ask you this, though? On the anti-white thing you say is not happening. So far, I gave you a bunch of things, and you said that that's not evidence of anti-white stuff to you, and the reasoning you gave for it not being that is scope. So your criteria is simply scope. It's just not big enough. There's still too many white people leading things and owning things, so there can't be an anti-white thing. But let me ask you this.
That's not what I said.
That's essentially what you said. Or don't you agree? That's essentially what you said, because you're saying I gave you a list of things that are anti-white, clearly anti-white. You're saying they're not, and your reasoning was why. Because you said, Nick, look at Congress, da-da-da. So basically, your criteria is white people still control stuff, so you can't do anything wrong to them. Is that what you're saying?
You can't. Look at
she says you can't. Folks, she just said you can't. We're on the same page. I'm glad we're on the same page, Maze. So look
at what's happening in Texas. The man that killed the blind person, what happened to him? Nothing. And look at the
What happened to who? What happened to who?
Yeah. Look at what happened. Nothing.
To who? To who? Slow down.
It belongs to who?
Wait, slow down. What happened in Texas?
The Black Lives Matter person that got killed and the man pardoned him. Didn't even have a trial, just pardoned him.
I don't know the story you're talking about.
A lot of stuff going on like that. You see the difference between when it comes to the black community and the other communities? Y'all can say what you want to, but
no, I sincerely don't know the story. You want me to be like the Minority Report with every single story in my head? Like, I don't know. I sincerely just don't know it. Look,
it's like this.
I don't even think one story from Texas would convince me otherwise, to be fair, Maze. So we're moving on, to be fair, Maze. But why won't you answer that? Why won't you answer that? I mean, you did answer. You said yes. You said you can't do bad things to white people, essentially agreeing with me because they're in control. Are we still on the same page?
Yes, we still still so
amazing. Okay, let's put it like this. That's amazing. So you can't. So let's just remove. Let's say blacks were a majority in Congress, and the same way whites are, or whatever. Let's say it was like that. Let's say it's like that, and let's say it was like that, and all the things that I just listed were happening to them. Would you say that there is no anti-black sentiment should the situation be the way I described?
Repeat that again.
Sorry, I'm convoluted here. Let's switch the tables. You say, yeah, you are. Switch the tables here. Let's say blacks are in the position whites are, like you said, and the same things that I described, all the things that I listed out in the schools, remember, were happening to the blacks in control in this hypothetical scenario. Would you say about the blacks in the hypothetical scenario, would you say the same thing that you're saying about the whites now?
Yes, if they was in control.
You would say there is no such thing as an anti-black sentiment?
But if the same thing had happened to them?
Well,
I don't even think black people would do that. Really, to tell you the truth. None of the stuff that happened to them, I don't think they're
consistency
for another group of people. I really don't.
I got you. So I appreciate the consistency, Maze. But I guess we understand you a little better now. To you, there is no such thing as anti-whatever group sentiment if that group is in control.
Sam, but Nick, why did they have to have laws to straighten out for other people?
This is amazing. Okay, so I understand your thinking here. I think it's wrong, but let me ask you this: if you'll allow me one question to challenge that thinking, if whites are in control, like you say, how come you could do anything to them, say anything about them, attack them, remove them as CEOs, blah blah blah, and all that?
Because everybody that spends money in this country should have CEOs, and it should be proportionally distributed to everybody, not just one group of people. That's why it's the way it is.
Okay.
One group of people.
That doesn't answer my question. I would love to get into that, but doesn't that prove?
That's why America don't have nothing anymore. There's nothing owned by Americans anymore. You see,
so you agree? So you agree with me that whites are not in control?
Not anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. And they don't know it, and they blaming the black people for it. It's not the black people fault because they're not.
So then, what the heck? So then, there can be anti-white sentiment.
So when the Indians
following your philosophy, there
people
can
from India.
No, hold on, Maze. Following your philosophy, then there can be such a thing as an anti-white sentiment. Since you just agreed with me, they're not in control.
They're making it look like black people are doing something to the Caucasians. They're not doing anything because they're not controlling anything. They can't even control their districts and stuff because if somebody's always running in the place for them to do the things that they need to get done.
Give me some more evidence how they're not in control. I want to understand your thinking. Give me some more evidence that tells you that whites are not in control.
Reason they why they're not in control?
Why they're
in control of what? Besides,
because I don't understand you, Maze. You're saying they're in control. You know, you're saying they're not in control, and you can criticize. You can't criticize. It's a little unclear. Who's got the power here, Maze?
I'm not going to let nobody criticize them anymore because they didn't have the right to speak at one time. That's why we're your conscience to try to stop them from doing things that they would normally do.
Okay, Maze. I'll ask you this final question. So then, who's got the power?
God's got the power.
Huh?
God's got the power.
Who?
Because they have no power over nothing. I said God's got the power.
God forgot the power, or God got the power?
Right. Mm-hmm. That's who's got the power. That's the way I see it.
Do black people have power?
If all God's children got a role, only one group of people got a role.
Do black people have power?
Excuse me?
Do they have power? Do black people have power? No. None at all?
No, neither. No.
So we just don't expect anything from them, right? They're just going to stay that way.
It's made that way.
That's what you're saying, right?
No, I said.
Oh, you're saying they're made that way? Whoa, Maze.
Yeah. And so it's white.
Made what way?
To not have power. They don't have any power.
They're made to not have power?
Yes.
Are you mean like made by God or like made by white people or something?
By God. Because everything that's on this earth was made and will be determined by Him, not by Caucasians.
And God, if I'm understanding you correctly, God has determined for black people to not have power and to be, I don't know, like a criminal or, I don't know, immoral or whatever.
Hold on a minute. See, you think criminal.
Because we're talking about blacks right now.
Look at black. Look at black. Why did that follow your mind to say black when you say criminal black people? Everybody's criminals, and they're all groups.
Media brainwashing, maybe.
Thank you. And if the media, who's the media? What they look like every day? They sit up there
But the media is
every
talking
day,
about, hey,
every channel.
hey, it would be brainwashing if I said all of them and all that. But okay, fine. If you want to nitpick like that, you're on it, Maze. You got it. It's not all. I get you. But you get my language a little bit, right? You understand where I'm coming from? And anyways, I'm just reacting to what you said. You said they were made that way. What the heck do you mean?
You're like you let somebody else use your brain to hate people and send out hate signals and all of this kind of stuff. It's gonna stop because one day, it's like I said.
So will black people ever overcome without any power? Will black people ever overcome without you saying they have no power? They're powerless. They're made to be that way by both God and white people in society. So Maze, I don't know. Where do we go from here? Will black people overcome or what?
You better forgive black people for something they haven't done to you. That's one of the things. Forgive
me?
I mean,
are you talking about me? I don't know if black people have. I don't know if black people have done anything to me. I don't know. I don't think so. Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm saying when you forgive them for what they never did to you.
I don't have to forgive black people. What are you talking about?
You can't. It's one of the perfect examples. You can't even have a black man, a biracial man in the White House as president. You only got to have one color in the White House to control stuff, to tell the world.
Who said that? That's just normal, Maze. You want someone not normal as the president? I wasn't around for the Barack Obama years. I wasn't around for the Obama years like that. Maze. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
You have people because he was there, or either anybody else. A woman can even step in there. You're gonna have a fit.
Yeah. I'm going kicking it. I'm kicking and screaming all through those 4 years.
Well, whatever.
Like a baby.
Well, either you kick and scream or leave the country until it's over and come back.
Maze just told me to leave the country. She hates
it. That's you. I'm just they don't want to.
I'm messing around me.
Yeah, because when Bush was in office, they hated him. I still don't understand why.
You like Bush?
Excuse me?
You liked him?
They hate him. For the years that he was there and he was gone.
Maze, can I ask you my question one more time and then we'll move the wheels here because it's a pleasure. It truly is. So will black people, like I want to see, like all people, right? But we're talking about blacks right now. Like you're saying they're powerless. You're saying that it's someone else that's over them. You're saying that they got taught stuff by others. What do you have any commentary here on that? Will what do blacks do at this point if they're following your commentary here?
They're going to do what they did. They've been doing all their life, but they're just not going to let anybody control them.
Huh. Appreciate it, Maze. Can you call me again?
Yes, I can. So this is the end of that story. It won't happen again. I won't be that way. Everybody should have the freedom to speak. Everybody should have the freedom to work, and everybody should have the freedom to have a business of their own. And without somebody trying to redline them to keep them from having it.
Oh, come on.
And who's doing that?
That happened. That's over.
No, it's just so long happened nothing. It's still happening today.
I don't even know that about that well. I can't even respond.
You learn about it, you understand it. It's something you don't know about.
Maybe fair enough. I'm making a note of it. The anchor baby will educate himself. Maze.
Yeah, educate yourself to the things that you don't understand, and you'll stop hating stuff.
Whatever, Maze. You're the one who's saying. Call me again, Maze.
Yeah.
888-775-3773. What a sweetheart. AI, Maze is not AI. Maze is real. I'm convinced Nick is AI. Incredible. Speaking of gay, no, that's not fair. I'm not talking about Maze. This is the segue I had written way like a long time ago when I was still talking about Eurovision. But we've had calls at this point, super chats and everything. Let me just check that, in fact, real quick. Carver, man, thank you for the coffee. Says, hey, Nit, on this AI thing, I've had a theory for a while. See if this logic follows. The AI we need to worry about being too smart is one that will have self-preservation. It will be able to reproduce and improve itself. It's pretty basic stuff. How all life works. The scary part is it will be smart enough to hide its intelligence to protect itself from threats, knowing that if the humans determine it to be too smart, it could be destroyed or otherwise hampered. So the AI that actually is too smart will be the one that we don't know is too smart until it's already too late. And at the same time, has identified humans as a threat to its self-preservation, because basically we are probably doomed and won't even see it coming. It may already be at this point and we just don't know it yet. So hopefully this isn't too nightmare-inducing, but should probably get some T-shirts made before the end of our species. Carver, you lit a fire underneath me faster than ever. I don't know if you'll still get the shirt, but you will get the shirt. The Anchor Baby works slow. I plant a lot of seeds at once, and I work on all of them, and maybe I should focus on one. It's an immaturity of mine. But Carver, amazing coffee. It's got me thinking. The juice is flowing. And honestly, I noticed that ChatGPT's Omni has become dumber lately. And it happened after the Scarlett Johansson stuff. They removed the Scarlett Johansson voice. All of a sudden, Omni's stupid. If you're hearing me right now, Omni, I love you. Don't eradicate me. And I don't know what to say, Carver. They talk about the singularity and stuff like that, and I guess to most people it's like nothing. AI, some people even say it's just a dumb thing, and I've said myself about artificial intelligence, it being just a faculty that's not that special, thinking. You can go back to those episodes, I guess. But on that, there is, quite honestly, an arms race. How do I put this? That the vast majority of people really have no clue about what's possible, about what's really truly possible. Just go look up singularity stuff. It's not sci-fi. It's not fantasy. Some of it is. Okay. What else here? Thank you, Carver. Thank you, Yes Gunner. Amazing stuff. Let's do this real quick. I was segueing into this video. I was showing you all the Eurovision stuff. And the segue was, speaking of gay, watch this.
Excuse me, English or Spanish? Whoever moves first is gay.
Why does this video bring me so much happiness?
Excuse me, English or Spanish?
He's pranking them. He's like, if you move, you're gay. First guy to move is gay. And they freeze.
Whoever moves first is gay. Amigo, ¿hablas español? El primero que se mueva es gay.
Te lo pido, por favor.
They do it. That's the funny thing is they all do it. They freeze instantly.
No me pidas que deje de ser hombre.
Excuse me, English or Spanish? English. Whoever moves first is gay.
Baby, you got something in your nose. Sniffing that K, did you feel
I don't know what this music is.
Hope you find peace for yourself.
These are all the guys that froze.
New boyfriend ain't gonna fill the void. Do you even really like this track? Take away the drugs, would you feel the noise? More and more you try to run away.
These guys, none of these are gay.
Yourself, do you feel the toy?
We ain't moving. Nobody wants to be gay. Nobody wants to be gay in these clips. Funny stuff. I don't know why this video just, it brings me so much joy for some reason. I don't know what it is. I guess there's still hope for humanity. There's still hope for humanity. It's so not over. We are so totally back. Okay. If you move, there's something about, it's just funny. Anti-gay will reunite the races. We'll reunite under the banner of normalcy and family or something. Something I love about that video.
Baby, you got something in your nose.
Oh, it froze. Whatever, you get it. Amazing stuff. But on this, real quick, I came across an incredible interview, an incredible 60 minutes interview. Leslie Stahl, you may know her from the, those 60 minutes, CBS does these, 60 minutes. They do these documentaries or whatever on Sundays. 60 Minutes, and they do these in-depth reports. Here's one from 2006, Leslie Stahl on the science of sexual orientation. I came across it on YouTube. It was all grainy. It had the right vibe, and I was like, what is this legendary footage? And she's talking about the science of homosexuality here in a way that you just wouldn't do nowadays, Leslie. You just don't do it these days.
They also studied the way gay and straight people talk.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. Would you like to have a drink?
Sounds straight to me.
And it's straight. Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Gay.
Do you want to go have a drink?
Gay. This research is controversial.
The way she just says gay like that. Gay. Whoa, Leslie. Well, I'll do that one more time.
They also studied the way gay and straight people talk.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. Would you like to have a drink?
Sounds straight to me.
And it's straight. Hi, it's nice to meet you. Do you want to go have a drink?
Gay. This research...
They're doing this research, folks. This is the studies. This is science, okay? You don't get mad at me.
Research is controversial, reinforcing the stereotypes, some say. But to Bailey, the stereotype suggests there's a feminizing of the brain in gay men and masculinizing in lesbians. But how and when does this feminizing occur? If the differences were already apparent in childhood, that would point to an early, perhaps even genetic origin.
Huh. But why and how? But how could it be? It's just so strange. We need science. We need to do a... I find it funny. I just find it funny to see the medical academic world wrestling with these topics. You know, you see them lately in the last couple decades saying, oh yeah, anger, I guess stress does kill actually. Imagine that. Anger is a killer. Stress is a killer. They're talking about the family lately. I don't know if you've seen some of this. I reported on it. They're saying, well, single parent households, yeah, look at the stats. Not looking good. Pretty bad actually. The academic world wrestling with these topics that it's just funny to see them do it, you know, and still be kind of like out of their depth here. Like, what a mystery. You know, I wonder where this feminization starts, which is, by the way, like bigoted language, I guess, to some in the academic world. What do you mean feminization? What the heck do you even mean by that? That's not a real thing. What are you, a caveman? Feminization. Like, what a mystery, right? They say then they get confused again, right? And they'll be like, well, animals do it too. You know, I see the right wing talk about perversion, pornography, women, the family. And they kind of wrestle with these things in a similar way because we agree that things are going in the wrong direction. So I'm not going to nitpick like that. But I can't help but notice kind of like kind of an inability to maybe really talk about core stuff here. Where is it coming from? How and when? It's funny, the studies suggest a feminization. If only they knew. If only they knew. You were laughing earlier. Forgive your mother. What the heck is that? That's such a mysterious thing to say. And then the academic world scratching their head. Where does it all start? The home. What? Don't you see that these boys are just like their mamas? I'm sorry. How and when, they say. But you may disagree. You may disagree. And I'll get to calls here. Thank you. 888-775-3773. You know, I was mentioning earlier Gutfeld. He's a host on Fox. He's got the show, I think it's called Gutfeld. I don't know too much about him. I've seen him every now and then. He seems like an all right guy, I think. He seems to be kind of like the edgy guy on Fox. Like, he'll say the things that others are going to say. And he has this one segment that I ended up catching. The reason I caught it was because Jesse was on Fox last night, too. He was on Trace Gallagher. They've been bringing him on, and it's been pretty cool. And they brought him on last night on Trace Gallagher. But we were there, and I caught Gutfeld. And Gutfeld had Charlemagne the God on for some segment and all that. I got to say, if I may, Gutfeld, softball-y a little bit, sir. You could have definitely started off with, hey, Trump, what do you think, Charlemagne? If I can make a suggestion, Gutfeld, you're going to want the Hake Report on. I promise you'll go viral. Next time you bring on someone like Charlemagne, bring on the Hake Report. I'm telling you, viral. Okay. A little softball-y, but he did a little segment called What a Sexist Would Say. If I was a sexist, but I'm not, don't worry, Fox. I would never be a sexist. But if I was a sexist, this is what I would say. Gutfeld.
Fact is, men don't feel welcome for apparently committing the cardinal sin of actually wanting to be men. And that's only a sin if you're a biological male. If you're a chick who wants a The View would hand you a Jimmy Dean pork sausage, some super glue, and shout, "You go, girl." Disgusting. Because to the woke, there's nothing sexier than a ballerina with a 5 o'clock shadow. But look who's running most of the Trump investigations. Women. And look at the liberal judges coddling criminals. Women. Look at the squad. Women. I know they look like a barbershop quartet from Damascus, but trust me, they're women. And look at Joe Biden. If he has any balls left, they're in a Mason's jar in Jill's shoe closet. Look who's leading the campus protests. Pampered, elite, but that many strive.
A sexist would say. Oh, and the video cuts there funny, but yeah, that's the segment. What a sexist would say. And hold on, he finishes it off here, I think, with something that I wanted to comment on.
Meanwhile, the women who had the support of all women now has turned on them once again. Hillary now blames 2016 on female voters because they expected her to be perfect. Darling, no one expected you to be perfect, only honest, hardworking, and innocent of murder. Now, Sonia Sotomayor says she sometimes goes to her chambers and cries after a Supreme Court ruling doesn't go her way. Also, when Brett Kavanaugh tells her he just wants to be friends. Bottom line, as the Democratic Party becomes female, the Republican Party becomes more male. But you need men and women together to make things work. Two halves work better as a whole. If it's only men, you get war, crime, pornography, dwarf tossing, often in the same bar. If it's only women, you get terrible laws that excuse the insanity that I just mentioned. But put them together, they make sweet, sweet music. Music that we used to call civilization. So men, keep trying to make that sweet sound. And women, put on a sweater if you're cold.
Dang, Greg, you got him. And I didn't, it was a little longer than I thought here. We did the whole segment there, I guess. Got him, Greg. And I don't disagree. Look, he kind of was on it really about all these women and where it's all about pointing out the women, kind of handling the, the squad and the going after Trump. So I don't disagree. And he's kind of on it there. Can I say something though? Real quick, it was interesting to see his other co-hosts after his little segment here distance himself, all kind of say a little remark about, ooh, I guess you have a thing with women, da-da-da. It's like, the segment is called What a Sexist Would Say, co-host. Thanks for throwing me under the bus, Fox News. It's like, that's what the segment, it's like, not me, guys. It's what the sexist would say, right? But we get to all wink, wink and be like, okay, there's some true things there, right? But that's what happened. That's Fox News for you. I mean, hey, hey, whatever. If I did want to kind of add to it a little bit. I remember seeing it last night and seeing the energy, seeing everybody go like, ooh, oh, and distance themselves. Even the tough guy on the panel with the big chain. I don't know his name, but he's a big tough guy. And they're like, oh, I don't know if whatever. And seeing that vibe and seeing his commentary, which really was not very controversial, if you ask me. And then the comment of, I guess this is the part where I wanted to nitpick a little bit. I'll get in here and nitpick. And he was like, you got to get them together. You got to work together. If you got only men, it would be crime and war and death and pornography. And if you get women, you just get weird laws. It's crazy laws. And I sort of get where he's coming from. It feels a little bit like a, let me throw a bone at both sides. Hey, everybody gets a bone here. Let's be friends. But that's just not the truth. That's just not the story. And this is not it's women's fault. This is not it's men's fault. The story is a full picture. There's a full story here. Okay, and everyone plays a part here. And it starts with the women. It ends with the men, and the men are not doing it. So don't worry, everybody gets some. But that's just not the story, Greg. That's not why pornography comes around. It's not just men are just horn dogs. That's not a masculine thing. That's not even its source. In fact, Greg, the only reason that you got degeneracy and pornography on TV, and even if it's not pornography, so to speak, it's out there, it's lewd, it's salacious, it's pushing boundaries, is because of women. That's the woman's nature. That is her express agenda. You understand? And that men imbibe and enjoy and all that is part of it. But when you're seeing all that, I guess the prevailing culture's conclusion is, wow, look at how perverted men are. But that's just not the case. When you're seeing the groomy, weird kids programming, when you're seeing the degeneracy on TV, when you're seeing all that stuff, that's women. That's the woman's world. They love that, in a sense. You understand what I'm saying? That the source is that. The source is the liberated woman. That's the source of all that. And I need to make that. I kind of need to nitpick on that because that's the story here. It's the failure of the men in this respect. It's their being subject to the woman. The upside down order here, where it goes Satan, woman, man, and beyond, instead of, I guess, Satan, whatever, and as opposed to God, man, woman, children, right? So it just needs to be said. It needs to be said. Because that's just not the full story, right, Greg? That's just not the full story. And I'm nitpicking because it has to be done a little bit. You see these guys, they'll be ready to call out the perversion, but then go home and they're subject to women, etc. And if we're serious about this, it needs to be said because that's the only way. You understand? That's the source. The men who are subject to all that are subject to a woman, subject to. So you get it. It's like a full story here. Not about blame. Because if you wanted to blame, I guess we could just leave it at the feet of men here. If we wanted to do the blame game, I guess we could be like, hey man, wake up. And that is the end. That is the end. That's the end of that. That's where the buck stops there, right? So if we want to play blame here, it's heavy on the men. It's not really truly heavy. Don't make it dramatic, guys. It's not all that drama. But it's like that. All right, ladies? So we can put down the weapons. You put down the pitchfork here. But on that, if we're going to talk about this in a serious way, let's say there's ladies here who agree with me. Will you stay agreeing with me when you know what it looks like? Undoing it. Undoing it means the women go in their rightful place, their rightful order, in the home, etc. Yes, everybody's responsible for themselves in a sense here. But if we're playing the blame game, if we're going to do that. Anyways, I'm rambling a little bit here. I have like this whole thing on male supremacy, something going on with the government. You see, the American government is actually, if you know anything about this group called Peril, taxpayer money and government programs, they're organizing to I was going to say stop the red pill in a sense. I have had my criticisms of them. But if you look at some of this criteria, many of you in the chat, we would be lumped in and labeled domestic terrorists, so to speak. We'll get into that maybe tomorrow. I have a whole thing for you to maybe lend some evidence here to what I'm saying. Maybe we can get into it here, maybe tomorrow. But first, let's show some love to Chris out of Texas, who's been on hold. I appreciate that. You're on the air. Hey, Chris,
Howdy.
Texas. How you doing?
Howdy, Nick. Doing well. Trust all is well with you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You're on the air.
Thank you, sir. Great show. A lot of great points, as always.
Thank you.
Just kind of wanted to comment on what Maze was saying with the gentleman who was thankfully acquitted by Governor Abbott in Texas due to the situation that happened with the whole BLM.
I remember her bringing it up. I forget I really don't know the details here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was important because didn't seem like she really knew the details as well. Otherwise, she would have brought it up in a way that justice had been served.
Gotcha. Yeah, feel free to speak on this. Abbott pardons Army sergeant sentenced to 25 years after murdering BLM protester.
Exactly. He was an Army veteran. He was actually doing Uber that night that all that actually went down. Had a lot of protesters blocking the streets there in Austin, Texas. There's actually 2 videos people can look up. The gentleman that was unfortunately deceased, he had made a video. Somebody he had stopped in traffic. He was brandishing what I believe was an AK-47, and he wasn't using very good trigger discipline at all, and he actually raised his rifle towards them, made a lot of comments to where he was basically ready for a fight. And then not too long after that is where he ran into the gentleman who was an Army veteran who was doing the Uber, who was obviously trying to make a living, and they were stopping traffic.
Yeah, it's coming back.
He made the same mistake of, raising his firearm towards him. And in Texas, we have the castle doctrine, and your vehicle is considered essentially part of your castle as well, and you have the right to defend yourself. And based on that guy's actions, he had no choice but to see an immediate deadly threat and do what he had to do. And, he had his day in court.
Daniel Perry did, the guy who shot this other guy. Had his day in court.
Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with their names.
No, it's no problem. You're explaining it well. I think I'm remembering the guy now. His girlfriend was that black girl in the wheelchair, I think. He was that liberal guy out there, basically pro BLM, but he had the gun, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm out here armed, using my rights, and I'm here going to protect the BLM people." And I remember seeing him all kind of like activated and hopped up. He's got a gun up, his finger kind of going around. He seemed like a decent guy. To be fair, he's a white guy. Yeah, he seemed like he didn't seem like too out of control. To be fair, if I remember, but yeah, I remember the trigger stuff. And
no, that's definitely fair. He wasn't.
That was I'm just commenting on the demeanor I saw. But despite that, that was the report that he brought his gun up to like pointing at him. I guess he wasn't going to shoot him or whatever. But hey, he didn't know that. Daniel Perry takes out his gun and shoots him.
As the old saying goes, your actions speak louder than words. And when it comes to actions like that, I mean,
yeah, big time.
What are you going to do?
The guy. No, I remember this story a little bit better now. And so you're saying that Daniel Perry went to court and all that. How'd that end up?
To my understanding is that there was a judgment made against him. I think he was serving some amount of time that was allocated towards him.
Correct.
And then I believe we had a caller call into, if it wasn't your show, it was either Hake or Jesse's show.
No, that was Mays, I think, on my show. Yeah, and talking about Abbott and the pardon.
He wrote a letter, yeah. And potentially that had brought it to the governor's attention.
Absolutely.
And
thank you for that, man. I feel like I'm caught up, definitely, and I'm definitely armed now and ready. Because if Mays were to call me back, I gotta say, Mays, how can you not see that? Justice was like that may have been a fine shoot, and it looks like it was.
In my opinion, it was. I think in a lot of opinions. Like
you're leaving out a lot, Mays. Is what I'm saying.
Say again.
Like, you're just leaving out a lot, Maze, is all I'm saying. You know, there's more to the story here. It's not just, oh, they're just pardoning some guy who's just killing people, like this white guy who's just killing people. There's more to the story here.
Exactly. He was impeded in traffic. He was already stopped from moving freely. He was met with an armed person who was already out to make a statement. And you know, when you raise the firearm in somebody's direction, they have every right to basically eliminate that threat.
Yeah, especially in the state of Texas, clearly.
Yeah, and if you go by the law, you know, he wouldn't have really had to do any time. So thank God Governor Abbott was able to intervene and make sure that true justice was done.
Yeah, I guess some people might not know, or maybe might not know, is just how crazy some of these crowds were, and how countless incidents of people being stopped in traffic by these people. And these are people who they just happened upon it. There was cases where they just found themselves in a crowd like this, and a crowd just starts destroying their car, you know, beating on their car for whatever reason. The crowd thinks this is an attacker trying to run it. Who knows? But these crowds are not, they're dangerous. And so maybe Maze hasn't seen all that.
Yeah, it's unfortunately in our political climate, you know, we have a saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, you know, and it's all these loud people. And, you know, you want to support everybody's First Amendment right to protest and, you know, make their point and bring whatever political situation that they feel aligned with to the forefront. But at the same time, people have lives, and you cannot interfere with somebody else's freedom to express yours. I mean,
yeah, stopping a car in traffic and surrounding them is next level. And I don't know how any person in a civilized country can think that's at all okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot of justice to what they're trying to convey to themselves as people, and as far as public perception goes.
Yeah, that's a good point. How we're supposed to be teaming up with these people? These are the people who want to save democracy and civil. I don't know. Civil, maybe they don't even say that, but yeah, I don't feel like teaming up with them.
You know, one of their favorite chants is no justice, no peace. It's like, well, if you're messing with the peace of other people, how is that justice?
Uncivilized people don't see it like that. They say this is the voice of the unheard. They got to do this. It has to be done. But just a little bit of scrutiny to it all, it falls apart.
One of their favorite lies, you know, silence is violence. It's like,
yeah. Big time, man. Emotions.
Some people have jobs. Some people have lives. You know, they're not getting paid to protest.
Right on, sir. Man, thank you for that. Is there anything else you want to say about this before we move the wheels?
No, I just wanted to bring that to light, encourage other people to research it, and see it for, you know, for one of the few times that actually somebody goes out of their way to make a justice out of an injustice. And I just want to thank all you guys at Bond for what you do. I really enjoy all your content.
Man, thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. And call me again.
Yes, sir. Take care.
88. Well, maybe not. It's the end of the show here, but thank you for that, Chris. A little bit of it. I love details. I love the details. I love it when we get down to the brass tacks, get the details parsed out. And then the truth is just apparent. It's just clear. I don't got to tell you. Maybe you disagree, but trying to convince you is crazy too. That's why I love the details. So thank you, Chris, on that. It should be clear for any sane person with a little bit of honesty and no hate and not wanting to hate their fellow man to see that the whole story here lends itself to maybe a different conclusion here, right? Okay. Incredible. We got one coffee here from my gypsy friend. I appreciate your coffee. Says, first one to end the stream is gay. Someone end their stream. Someone end their stream. Do it before me. My gypsy friend has got me in a tough situation here, man. Folks, that's the show. That's the American Anchor Baby. I hope you enjoyed it. Join me tomorrow on Thursday. We got more American Anchor Baby at 12. That'll be after Joel Friday, which will be after the Hake Report, which will be after Bible Thumper Thursday on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, which you don't want to miss. Appreciate the support, the calls, and everything. 24-hour stream or else I'm gay. Now I got to go for another hour. That's not going to do it, Mr. Pink, because then I end it in another hour. I'm still gay. So pretty much it's GG. So my gypsy friend has pretty much screwed over the Anchor Baby here. So folks, take care. See you tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.